Well, another quick overnight backpacking trip. I kind of forgot a lot of stuff. I forgot my hat. I forgot my wind shirt. But I have my rain jacket. And it looks like the weather's going to be pretty terrible. At least for a little while. It's supposed to clear up some. So we'll see what happens. And I'm not sure if I'll find a place to camp around here. But if I don't, I'll just go home. Well, this isn't my square on the couch, that's for sure. That's pretty humid, pretty wet. All this grass, you have to walk through a lot of foxtail grass and it's really wet. So my feet are soaking wet and my pants are wet and it feels humid. So I had to take off my jacket. I was getting kind of wet. But the hill's not so bad. This trail goes up to Ranger Peak is really steep and it's a killer, but I've been getting up every morning before I sit in my little square on the couch and go to work and doing a hike in my neighborhood. I have some pretty steep hills in my neighborhood, so I do a hike in the morning and then another one at noon, and sometimes I only do one, but sometimes I do both, and it's helping a lot getting me back in shape. Been kind of out of shape. Feels good though. It's beautiful. I wish Tony could join me more, but I don't know. So I'm at a little seasonal creek here. It's very cute. It's the only place that I'm sure that there's water on my route. So I'm gonna, even though I'm very early in my hike, I'm gonna load up a couple of liters here. And then I was thinking, depending on how I feel, I could actually hike all the way to the top and then go down and go to like Willow Springs or Davy Brown. So I have to get through that fence, which means I have to roll on my stomach or my knees or something. And it is wet. Look how wet. The alternative is to go this way and do a giant switchback, which maybe is a better idea. Well, I chose to crawl on my hands and knees because the grass was about knee high anyway. So yeah, it's pretty wet out here. I wanted to come out in some terrible weather. I'm trying to get myself to like backpacking in terrible weather. So I'm on Goat Rocks. This is Santa Barbara's Goat Rocks. It's that is a sheer cliff, but there's no view. You can kind of see the cliff over there. What's cool in the spring when you come up are these little succulents, and people have put little circles so that you don't accidentally step on them. They get a cute little pink flower that's really pretty when it's opened up. Otherwise, I don't know, it reminds me of places I've never been, like Scotland or Ireland, or maybe not Ireland, maybe Scotland. It's like windswept. There's like lichen or lichen-like, like almost alpine-like plants. But it's not like I don't think I'm above 5,000 feet here. Maybe I'm right at 5,000. I think that is the actual named Goat Rock on the map. looks like a good potential campsite. I'm climbing up Ranger Peak now. It's the steepest part of the hike. And I'm close to Figueroa Mountain. And I can see that the flowers are coming out. It's a whole field of lupin. Here's a really sheltered spot. I'm almost at the top of Ranger Peak. Well, I made it to the top of Ranger Peak. There is no view. Well, I had to go for a hike in the woods to find hand sanitizer. But hey, now I have hand sanitizer. Lucky me. It says White Rock Trail, Sunset Valley Road, 2 miles. Davy Brown Camp, 6 miles. I'm not going that way though. I'm going this way. This is like Washington rain. The trees make it rain. The grass gets you all wet. Your feet get all wet. The ground is all wet. It's not actually raining. But it's really pretty. And it is giving me memories of Washington. Well, I found the trail. I don't know about this trail. I hope it clears up. Maybe it does. That's a little better. We'll see how this goes. If it's terrible, I'll just go back up to the road. Yeah, it was just a little brushy. It's not too bad. Overall, it's mostly like this. Well, I spoke too soon. The trail looks like this now. And I didn't tell Tony I was going to go to Willow Springs. So I think maybe I'm going to turn back and I'll stealth camp along the road. I got that 2 liters of water. Should be enough. Well, I have returned to this spot. And looks like I can go down just not too far to a creek. And there may be some flat spots down there. We'll see. Wow, look at all this. It's a field of chocolate lilies. So cool. So I have my campsite here in this beautiful meadow. It's not a very flat meadow. Down in there is the creek. So I have water, which I carried a lot of water, so I don't really need it, but it's there. And I'm tucked away in this little corner. I'm trying a plastic door made out of polycryo. I bought the large polycryo from Gossamer Gear, and I cut it into a hexagonal shape that fits pretty nice under my tarp. And the leftover piece was just big enough to make a door, and I'm hoping it'll hold in some of the warmth because it is cold. It is butt cold. My feet are completely wet. and there's a tiny little breeze and 10% chance of rain tonight. But here I am. I tried to go out on a weekend where the weather wasn't that great because I feel like Washington got the best of me, and I'm trying to come to terms with it so that if I ever return, it won't make me so upset. But I don't like being wet, and my legs are wet, my feet are wet, my shoes are wet, but my house is dry, so I'm going to get in and relax. So I guess I have to decide how I want to get back, because this coming down to this meadow was a pretty long, steep drop. Almost as long as the climb up to the peak, Ranger Peak. And it's only a mile or so to Sunset Valley Road near Kachuma Saddle, and I could just walk the road and not have to do all that all over again in the cloud. I suppose I should decide in the morning and just see what it looks like. Road walking kind of sucks, but you know, it's a nice road. It's not terrible, and I might see new things walking it. Well, this morning's coffee matchup was Folgers versus Starbucks via Colombian flavor instead of French roast. The Colombian is much nicer. It's not burnt tasting, so there's a woodpecker, but he's pecking very slowly. I wish I hadn't stuck my pole there because the view is being obscured, but last night I felt like this meadow was creepy. I had a creepy feeling about it. I didn't like sleeping in it, so I put up my ground sheet as a door, just so I didn't have to look at it and feel cold and creepy. So, but this morning, look at how beautiful it is. It's just beautiful. And the birds are chirping, and I could hear frogs. It's lovely. So this time I brought my strum stick. I'm not going to play it for you. I won't torch you, but gives me something to do. Well, few things are worse than putting on wet socks and wet shoes in the morning. And I'll just leave it to your imagination. Just keep thinking of things that are worse than that until you get to the worst thing. And that's been my day so far. Well, I'm on my way. I've decided to follow this trail out to Sunset Valley Road and walk along the road. I kind of vaguely remember that I did that once before. I parked at Kachuma Saddle and did a hike where I came out at Naira, and then I had to walk the 8 miles back. This isn't going to be 8 miles, maybe more like 4. I'm gonna begin now, and it's a beautiful road walk, so it's not that bad. Well, it's been a couple hours of drying my stuff and walking along this road. I'm getting pretty close. I just passed Kachuma Camp. It's a car camp that you can just see right from the road. Somebody was cooking breakfast on their common stove. It smells so good, delicious. There's a nice creek here. And I'm getting close to where it starts to go uphill and turn into a dirt road again, and then I won't be that far from my car. Those are vernal pools. Well, there's my car up there above all the other cars. Just about done. It's so beautiful out here, my God. Well, there ends another quickie overnight backpacking trip. If you're a person whose through hike got canceled, I highly suggest that you do this, that you go out every weekend if you have a job, or every once in a while if you don't, and just do a quick overnight. Go see someplace nearby where you live, where there aren't a lot of people. It's really actually a lot of fun. I mean, if you don't like solo hiking, you can do it with another person, or if you do like solo hiking, you'll actually get a solo hiking experience, which you don't really get like on the PCT or the Appalachian Trail. And you know, the PCT is not the only beautiful place in the world. There's beautiful places everywhere. I mean, look at this. This is just gorgeous.